So, not a big fan of starting this stream off on a negative note, but we got to talk about this because it's fucking important. And I haven't seen a whole lot of people mention it. So, here goes. Protests over transgender rights at LA spa turn violent. Police arrested several dozen people and fired non-lethal projectiles to disperse an unruly crowd on Saturday after dueling protests over transgender rights at a Los Angeles spa turned violent. So we're going to cover this story, and then we're going to get a little more deep into it.
Los Angeles police arrested several dozen people and fired non-lethal projectiles to disperse an unruly crowd on Saturday after a dueling protest over transgender rights at a Los Angeles spa turned violent. The protests stemmed from a video that circulated online earlier this month, in which an irate customer complained to the staff at LiQWYD Spa about a transgender woman's exposed genitalia in the women's section of the spa. The video sparked controversy after the spa defended its policy of allowing transgender customers in its facilities, the Los Angeles Times reported. Police declared an unlawful assembly in front of the spa in Koreatown around 11 a.m. when demonstrators against transgender access to the spa's facilities clashed with counter-protesters, and some in the crowd threw smoke bombs and other objects at officers, Det Megan Aguilar, a spokeswoman for the LAPD, said.
So already we can see this is kind of fucked, right? Like, so video comes out on Instagram, I believe, saying that all of a sudden there's this trans woman dick out. That's super scary. Scares the cis. They don't know what to do. They've never seen a dick before. It's scary. It's terrifying. It's difficult for them. And this person complained online. This was followed suit by a protest against trans people, to which the spa said, go fuck yourselves. We're going to allow trans people here because we support trans people, which good on them. Rock on for that spa. Let's go on.
Video posted on Twitter shows officers in riot gear hitting protesters with batons and firing beanbag rounds and other projectiles. At one point, a woman was hit in the abdomen, causing her to fall to the ground. Several dozen people were arrested for ignoring orders to disperse, and police found stun guns, knives, and pepper spray discarded on the street, police later said. Aguilar didn't have an immediate arrest count because authorities were still processing the people who were arrested and screening to see if anyone needed medical treatment. She said no officer was injured and no protester was transported to hospitals.
So, what this sounds like is one of the police decided to open fire because you know how fucking trigger happy these motherfuckers are. And apparently there were people with tons of lift weapons there, stun guns, knife, pepper spray. Again, Moth, you're right. Are the cis okay? In this case, probably not. If you're really that upset about seeing a dick, like, calm yourself. Jesus Christ. It's not that deep. Dicks aren't that impressive. I mean, like, they can be, I suppose, in the right context, but, you know, yeah. But things get interesting. Not sure if you can read all that, so I'll read it to you. This is about the same thing. Transgender rights protest outside LA spa turns violent. Reporter thrown to ground by right-wing anti-pedophile group.
A group of protesters who showed up outside a Los Angeles spa on Saturday were met by a large police response, resulting in more than a dozen arrests. The protests stemmed from a video that showed a customer of the LiQWYD spa in Koreatown angrily confronting a staff member complaining that a disrobed transgender woman had entered into the women's section. The video, which was shared on social media earlier this month, quickly went viral in far-right and anti-transgender websites, but its veracity has since been put into question. A source at the spa told the Los Angeles Blade that there's no record of appointment of any of its usual transgender clients on the day in question. Additionally, treatments at the spa are by appointment only, and most of its trans clients are known to the staff, the source said.
So let's put that into context. The initial story is some Karen complains to the manager because she saw a trans woman's dick, but in the video, I guess it was on Instagram or Twitter, did not in any way, shape, or form show a trans woman in there in any way, shape, or form. We only have this woman's claim to go with. And of course, right-wing media does what it always does. Anything that makes trans people look bad, they will jump on immediately because that is their way. They cherry pick to build a case towards and against us because they want us dead. They believe we are mentally ill. They believe that we are degenerates, right? They follow very well in the footsteps of their predecessors. Let's say it that way. But it turns out that this story might not be true. In fact, not only was there no trans people shown in that video, but there was no one there that was actually trans that day. As someone who's a trans woman who has gone for laser hair removal, the simple fact of the matter is that if I can be honest, like, they know me there. I'm there. I have the same technician every time. We have a really good conversation. I painfully get hair buzzed off my body, and a good time was had by all. But they know me. So the idea that there was suddenly a trans woman there when none were actually listed as being there and none of the regulars were there is a little weird. Right? Let's move on.
On Saturday morning, LGBTQ activists gathered outside the spa to counter a protest of people who opposed access of trans women to the facility, carrying signs that read "Save our children" and "Stop defending pedos."
Right, so this is a video. I'm not showing it on screen, but yes, one of the men opens fire and hits somebody. I'll post these along with the video, of course.
According to the Los Angeles Times, the two groups clashed around noon, prompting the LAPD to declare an unlawful assembly in the area. Most people did leave the area, but currently there are a number of arrests made for failure to disperse, LAPD DET Megan Aguilar said. Videos circulating on social media show police officers in riot gear hitting protesters with batons, shooting beanbag rounds and 40mm hard foam projectiles at protesters, the Times reported.
Yeah, like, I think Weaver asks a really good question. What the fuck do children have to do with this? Anytime a young girl goes to a salon, they're in a separate room if they're doing hair removal or stuff like that. And the simple fact of the matter is that there is literally no way this scenario would happen. In every salon I've ever been to, they always have you in separate rooms when you're doing laser because your genitals will be exposed. It's not like they have you out in the same place where people are getting manicures, you fuckwits. But so there was a protest of people saying stop the pedos because, again, I'm going to just make it really clear. Anyone that ever jumps to the immediate assumption of child abuse and doesn't understand the full ramifications of that claim or what that does to a person is not an adult. Full stop. This type of pearl clutching is literally done by people who vote for individuals who allow this shit to happen by essentially stopping sex ed because if a kid doesn't know what's happening to them, they can't report it. But on top of that, these are also the fucks that probably vote for individuals who allow, was it like 45 states currently, to have child marriage in it? These people don't care about pedophilia. They care about using the most spicy claim possible to hurt trans people. And it's the same claim that they had against gay people, that we're perverts, that we're degenerates, that we're going to ruin the family. None of that shit has happened. Not a goddamn bit of it. Yeah, this does read like QAnon, Mordecai. I guess my concern is I just don't know whether they actually took response for it. But I don't know if this is actually mentioned in any way with all of these sites, right? The cops here fighting against protesters. Let's keep going.
Lois Beckett, a reporter for The Guardian, posted a short video of a group of anti-trans protesters throwing bottles of water at her. Just got thrown to the ground by right-wing anti-pedophile protesters as a crowd converged on me and chased me. They threw water at me and screamed about Jesus and said to grab my phone, she wrote. Police would not let me through the police line, but after I got thrown on the ground they did.
Well, that was nice of them after you've already been physically assaulted. Yeah, no, these people only give a fuck about children when they're in womb. Like, let's be super clear. These people only give a fuck about children when they're still in utero. They don't give a fuck about kids. If you're born poor, fuck you, no handouts. Again, this is just choosing the most aggressive thing possible to hurt trans people. Yeah, Lauren Chen can show the entire video. I don't give a fuck. Lauren Chen is a ghoul. And as far as I'm concerned, a token for people who want an ethno-state. Like, I'm not fucking around on that. Lauren Chen is absolute scum. You can watch the video on your own free time. I'm not subjecting people here to that.
According to the LA Times, anti-transgender protesters were demonstrating against the spa's policy of opening their doors to transgender clients. After the video incident, LiQWYD Spa defended its position in a statement sent to Los Angeles Magazine. Like many other metropolitan areas, Los Angeles contains a transgender population, some of whom enjoy visiting a spa, the statement said. LiQWYD Spa strives to meet the needs of all its customers.
So, again, there is a happy ending here, is that at least we know for a fact that the spa is getting trans people's backs. Like, that's really cool. Like, can we give hypers in chat for the spa? Like, that's really fucking cool. Like, that's really fucking cool. I think that's really great. The fact of the matter is they doubled down and supported us. I'm not gonna be against that, right? That makes me super happy. But it gets even more complicated. Well, and notice that one Minerva didn't actually mention any of the weapons. So before we had all these weapons that were lying on the ground. I'm gonna guess those are from the Jesus protesters, because I don't know many trans people that do counter protests with fucking bear mace or goddamn like stun guns. Alleged trans incident at upscale LA spa may have been staged. So let's see what this lovely article has to say.
On June 24th, Instagram user Cuba Angel posted a video of herself angrily confronting a staff member at the LiQWYD Spa in Koreatown, accusing them of letting a disrobed transgender person into the women's section of the business.
Love you, Thanagar.
There is increasing doubt among law enforcement and staff at the LiQWYD Spa whether there ever was a transgender person there to begin with. Anonymous sources within the LAPD tell the Blade they have been unable to find any corroborating evidence that there was a transgender person present on that day.
This is all they can do is lie.
The Blade there's no record of any of its usual transgender clients on its appointments guest list on the day in question. Treatment at the spa is by appointment only, and most of its transgender clients are well known to the staff. Yeah,
so let's be super clear. These motherfuckers lied. The idea that there's any evidence to this. So first off, I'm just going to make it really clear. If you saw a trans girl's junk by accident, say a door slipped open or something, grow the fuck up. Like, let's be clear. Grow the fuck up. But this didn't even happen. There's no evidence. Not only did the spa not have any records of it, but the police could find no evidence of it. And granted, I tend to think the police are going to be against marginalized people. It's kind of how they roll. But the fact that they didn't corroborate this insane Christian mob's notion is pretty important. It doesn't, fix the fact that they opened fire on somebody. But this, to me, feels like either A, this person saw something and made up a story about it in their fucking head. That's just how projection works. Or, and this is the guess I have in my head, is this was intentional. I was told by one of the people in my Discord, and I haven't had a chance to verify it, so correct me if I'm wrong, but this person, Cuba Angel, is a person on Instagram who is well known for, let's say, posting a lot of Christian propaganda and a lot of sort of Christian memes. And so for them to post something like this feels weird. It's out of character. No, Gabriel, that's absolutely correct. 100% true. Of the Mishfest turf related to a grandmother and her granddaughter seeing a trans woman's junk in the shower and getting traumatized. Again, I'm just going to say real quick, if you are so easily damaged, because you saw a trans woman's penis by accident, you are a fucking child. You should not be allowed in fucking public. The idea that someone can be so triggered because they saw genitals, like, I'm sorry. Going to places like this, it's entirely possible if I was in a particular situation that I could accidentally see something, and you act like an adult about it. You don't leer, you don't drool, and you certainly don't fucking lose your shit about it, because generally everyone's there just kind of getting their shit done. That's true, Tiamat. Children do know better. These people aren't children, they're idiots. Let's move on. Oh, this is a lovely little place. This looks good. I like that.
Several other factors cast doubt on the veracity of the claims in the video. QAngel's Instagram account is almost exclusively Christian memes, which begs the question why she chose to go to a spa well known for being LGBTQ friendly. During QAngel's video, no transgender person can be seen, and no other witnesses have come forward to confirm the allegations made. It's also not the first time WI Spa has been targeted for catering to transgender people. After the alleged, unconfirmed incident, WI Spa was deluged with 1-star Yelp and TripAdvisor reviews. It also remains a possibility that there was a person, unknown to the WI Spa staff, who pretended to be transgender to create an inciting incident. In 2015, anti-transgender activists in Washington state deliberately encouraged men to enter women's facilities. One cisgender man entered a swimming pool changing area wearing only board shorts while claiming that he had a right to be there. He was removed from the premises without charges being filed.
So it's entirely possible. No. Let's be clear. Lauren Chen is absolutely an ethno-nationalist and a token. No, we don't listen to Lauren Chen. Lauren Chen's bad. The fact is that, like, yeah, have some consensual fun and like the damn video. So, like, let's talk about this for a second. Essentially, what has happened here, if we're really honest, is an unconfirmed report that no one can corroborate happened, and it's entirely possible that this could have been either fabricated or was set up as a means by which to target trans people. Holy shit. Like, just holy shit. Do these, like, seriously, does the right have no line? I know they don't, but I don't know why I'm still shocked about these monsters, but they are that. They're not making the world better. I know they think they are, or at least the ones that aren't grifters think they are, but the fact of the matter is they're just not. They're not making the world a better place. They're making the world a more sanitized place. They want the world easy and simple because their little tiny brains, their little tiny lacking wrinkle brains can't actually understand complexity and nuance, or the idea that some of the things they take for granted, like gender, for example, are much more complicated than just, do you have a penis?
The video quickly made the rounds in far-right and trans-exclusionary feminist, TERF, sites. Anti-trans feminist websites like Mumsnet, Overit, and Spinster were sharing content by far-right provocateurs known for disinformation, like Ian Miles Chung, by June 27. Shortly thereafter, flyers for a protest on July 3 began circulating in religious right, far-right, and TERF social media circles, and were shared by Cuba Angel on the 29th and users on Spinster. They discussed defending the alt-right troll website, Kiwi Farms, which is known for targeting transgender women.
So this was a fucking party. Holy shit, we've got Mumsnet, a known transphobic site full of awful parents that hurt their children. Over It, which is another just awful TERF site. Spinster, which, there you go. And also them teaming up like they always do with right-leaning provocateurs like Ian Miles Chong, a noted Nazi. Right? And then we get into this that after it, shortly after, there was suddenly flyers for the protest. That feels very sudden. And on top of that, and Saul just said it in chat, these motherfuckers were defending Kiwi Farms, a place known for throwing around transphobic slurs, targeting trans women, and doing demonstrable harm in the world. This is what I mean when I say that TERFs are not welcome in any leftist space, period. No matter what value they state, no matter what way they try to say that they care about the world, they do not. Because they will compromise any other value, any other liberal or leftist goal to work with Nazis. This is well established. Look at Julia Serrano's Twitter. She talks about it in several cases. Numbers of trans women do elsewhere on Twitter. There's just real evidence to show that TERFs will just, like always, work with anyone they can to hurt trans women because, again, TERFs are a hate group. They are not feminists. They are certainly not fucking advocates. They are a hate group. No different than the Ku Klux Klan. No different than any other hate group. And the fact of the matter is their willingness, their complete nonsense of being willing to work with people like Ian Miles Chong or, for God's sakes, protecting Kiwi Farms? Are you fucking joking me?
Prior to the protest, a Los Angeles trans woman was falsely accused by anti-trans feminists of being the alleged transgender person in the video. She received multiple death threats and harassment, including a picture of a masked man brandishing an assault weapon threatening to shoot her. The anti-trans protest was a mix of religious fundamentalist street preachers, QAnon conspiracy theorists chanting "Save Our Children," and Proud Boys.
Oh my fucking
Black
God.
Bloc, like Antifa, and trans activists engaged in a counter-protest at the same time, and violence erupted. Right-wing personality Andy NGO, who coordinates with far-right groups when they're looking to engage in violence on camera, was also there.
Yeah, so Andy Ngo? Like, yeah, so he's of course there to stir up shit because he wants to get, he wants to play victim again, like he always does. And then like, you have QAnon people there who don't even, who literally support a president known for fucking children. Can we be very clear on this? Allegedly, of course, because I don't want to get sued for slander. Allegedly, Trump has done awful things to kids. And let's be super clear, he has paid out settlements upwards of $28+ million for this. I say plus because some of those settlements had closed. We don't know actually how much he paid out, but the total before those amounts is around $28 million. You don't usually pay out if there isn't some evidence. And remember, he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. QAnon is a cult. They are Nazis. Their belief structure, their attacks against degeneracy, the fact that they're even here when this has nothing to do with children. Yeah, right? It's exactly, Gabriel.
A right-wing protester drew a gun on a person recording the event and told him it was something to shoot you with. A videographer wearing a vest marked press was struck from behind by a right-wing protester with a metal pipe.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Another anti-trans protester stabbed 2 people, a pro-trans counter-protester who was reportedly hospitalized by the wound, and a fellow anti-trans protesters while she was attempting to help him off the ground.
Which wasn't reported in the other stories.
The LAPD quickly declared the protest and counter-protest unlawful assemblies and dispersed them. All of this fits into an emerging pattern of the alt-right, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists, violent far-right groups like the Proud Boys, the religious right, and anti-trans feminists collaborating and coordinating
Quote,
as they share the same media streams. Rhetoric against transgender people in popular right-wing media like Fox News has grown both more frequent and more extreme. In April, Tucker Carlson, who serves as a gateway to the far right, declared that transgender people are a threat to the perpetuation of the species.
Tucker Carlson, I don't even know why. A man that could get an unfavorable comparison to Goebbels. I'm just saying.
Dr. Joe Mulhall, head of research at the UK's renowned anti-extremist watchdog group Hope Not Hate, discussed this trend in a recent interview. We see more anti-trans content from within the far right than against any other minority today.
I agree,
They
Moth.
disproportionately talk about trans rights way more than Muslims now. He sees transphobia as more accepted publicly than anti-Semitism.
Yes.
Talking about Jews isn't. It ostracizes you. But if you talk about trans issues, it opens the doors to the mainstream. The far right are saying things they know will be echoed in the comment pages of the right-wing press. Flyers are circulating online advertising a second protest against WI Spa on July 17. LAPD sources says they are aware, and will be taking steps to avoid a repeat of July 3. However, as of publication, no warrants, indictment, or arrests have been made as a result of the violence.
So let's be clear, this story is fucked. Let's say this really clearly. So first off, the fact that there were weapons there, this has been corroborated by 2 separate stories now. But the fact that there's been no arrests, there's been no push for these people to be fucking jailed for clearly inciting violence. These people are terrorists. Like, that's just what they are. And let's be very clear, underlying the transphobia, because yes, transphobia is absolutely more acceptable to do than anti-Semitism. But here's the joke. They allow the anti-Semitism. If you look in TERF circles, you start to get a lot of the alt-right bullshit around the notion of, you know who's making this happen, right? It's literally the Jewish question. Like, anyone who follows this knows it. Trans-exclusionary radical feminists are people who are willing to do anything and work with anyone to hurt trans people because they are disgusted by us, because they are a hate group. And underlying them is the same hatred that the right has for Jews, for blacks, for anyone else, because they come from the same cloth, regardless of their rhetoric, regardless of their arguments. The fact of the matter is they're willing to work together because they are the same. The simple fact of the matter is TERFs are a threat. They are a threat to everyone. If you are a trans person, if you are a trans ally, if you are a person who wants to see trans family members survive and be well, you should be concerned about these people. They are absolutely repugnant. And the simple fact of the matter is that that there are people like QAnon and Proud Boys should tell you just how disgusting this protest was. And I want to thank anyone who is part of the counter protest for being a part of that. And I'm sorry to anyone who's been hurt, and I hope you're okay and you rest up and heal well. All right. And I want to be really clear that the previous ones didn't even mention that someone was wounded. I feel like there's more we need here. And if there is more information that comes out from this, I will definitely let you guys know it. But for right now, that feels like we're pretty solid. Please understand this. Like, please understand this. These people are absolutely our political enemies. There is no broking with them. The right keeps whining about how they can't go back to the good old days when they could just talk shit about anybody and you'd still be able to have Thanksgiving dinner. We're never going back, you assholes. Ever. We're never going back. We're never going back to that time. What we're going to have is continued pushback against you every single time. And I'll be clear. I don't think Tucker Carlson should be on the air. I think he should be removed. I think Tucker Carlson is somebody who is absolutely responsible for stochastic terrorism and has absolutely slipped up and let the mask slip several times, showing that he is not only a white nationalist, but a corporatist and a plutocrat who's fine selling any marginalized group under the bus just for him to be richer. He is the worst kind of person because unlike those who are passionately against marginalized groups, he's a mercenary. He'll be a monster just for the dollar. We can't even tell what his real views are because it's incredibly clear that he doesn't care. Please understand this. Be safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Stand up for businesses that do this. I know we hate businesses. I know we hate corporations. I know we hate this, but when they stand up for us directly, like this spa did, if you're in this area, give that spa a review. Push back against this thing, right? Again, they use Yelp, so really, who fucking cares? It's Yelp. I mean, use Google like an adult. But like, the simple fact of the matter is that underlying all of this is very real disgust and very real hatred. And the simple fact of the matter is that never forget this. This is why we can't find commonality with these people ever. Because let's face it, they want us dead. All right? So I'm going to leave this segment here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you're still on the stream, stick around. We're not ending. All right? Otherwise, see you in the next one. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also ring the bell if you want to be notified of our videos. If you want to help the channel, you can donate at streamlabs.com/transgirltherapist/tip. You also can become a patron at patreon.com/transgirltherapist. As low as $3, you can support our channel. Thanks for watching.